Hello everybody, Hamas28 here and welcome back to Clayblock. So as we left off last episode, I expanded the walls of the base a little bit using some terracotta bricks from Clayworks to make it look a little bit better compared to just using clay. I also set up our dripstone block with lava over a cauldron, so hopefully this means we have a renewable source of lava. Of course, having just one is very slow, so I am going to have to probably expand it out a bit more. Maybe do like an 8x8 over there, so we have easier access to more lava. But let me show you what I've been working on in the Nether. So I found that these Nether mobs are really annoying. I guess they can aggro through walls, so there's really no way of stopping them. But now that I've completely enclosed this area, they can't get in, which is very nice, because they spawn in high numbers and they're really annoying to fight. But here it is, our colored terracotta crushing machine. Well, explosion device, really. So if we take black terracotta and crying obsidian, right now it's still mostly manual, but you just load in your crying obsidian on the bottom, load up your terracotta on the sides, just like so, in a 3x3x3 kind of cube. Just like that, and then you come out to the front and hit the button. And you're done. Now, there's no other hoppers, so kind of all the items kind of just explode all over the place. But it works, and it gets you everything you need. Pretty nicely. And, it also took out the pipes. Okay, I'm going to have to move these pipes a little bit further out. But other than that, it's fully functional. Interesting. When I tested it earlier, it didn't damage all of the pipes, so I wonder why it damaged the pipes now. Gonna have to do some more bug fixing on that, but you can see, this will be version 1. Version 2 will hammer out the bugs, because it does seem like up here, it does blow up a bit more, because it also damaged the pipe here, as you can see. So it damaged these two and this one, so maybe in the Nether, we can actually go up to a bit bigger of a space. So that's version 1, and it's, it's nice, but until we figure out a way to automatically place all the colored terracotta, it is still a very manual process. But now that we have essentially solved that, and I guess this is the mid-game, we need to figure out how we can get to the end a lot faster. And there are a couple ways to do that. So making the end portal frames is really not difficult. We can get clay to make terracotta, we have quartz, we have skulk, we have eyes of ender. But making ender pearls is actually pretty difficult. You can craft 3 from 5 times 4, 20 compressed clay, and then using these masks. But using the masks means I have to fight those guys, and they're pretty strong. Which means we're going to have to use these dimensional shards, which are crafted from throwing in 8 compressed clay into a blast furnace to produce them 5 at a time. Which is very doable, but 8x compressed clay would be extremely difficult to manually mine, because we can mine up to 6x compressed clay deposits ourselves, but to make an 8x would require 16 6x. And since they are quite rare, it's more than likely we'd have to compress up even more composites of clay, which means we should craft a builder and slot in a shape card for the clearing quarry to automate it for us. Now, of course, to actually craft this guy, it's actually pretty easy. It doesn't take anything we already don't have access to, except for paper, which comes from sugarcane, which we don't have access to yet. But, as you can see, we can craft it from wheat, claysta fruit, and cyan glazed terracotta, which is something we can make. We just have to find claysta fruit, and where do we get wheat? Wheat can be made from... So we can get wheat seeds from short grass, and we can make short grass by cooking claysta fruit. So everything is going to hinge on locating this claysta fruit, which, if you remember from the first episode, there are deposits underground that look green and brown, which I'm guessing is where we're going to find the claysta. So let's head underground and see if we can manage to locate some. Alright, so it looks like the nearest one is only 50 blocks in that direction, so it should be pretty easy to get to. As you can see, I was down here doing a little bit of mining, as this is where you can get a good amount of compressed clay. So we just need to head over in this direction and see if we can get access to the green one through the cave system over here. Alright, now according to the waypoint, it should be through this wall. So if I just dig through it, we should find it pretty easily. Ooh, a lot of compressed clay over here too. I'm gonna grab this. The 5x is very valuable, because that's essentially gold, which we can turn down into iron, or upwards into diamonds. And what is all this? Claysta stock, Claysta fruit. Okay, this is definitely what we're looking for. This entire area is completely full though, which is quite crazy. There's also triple compressed terracotta and green concrete powder. What do you use this for? Nothing. You can just turn it into concrete. Let's see, green concrete, concrete. And I can't spell for the life of me. Green concrete has no uses. I'll probably take it anyway, because we can use it as building material for roads, but we do have to start getting this Claysta fruit, which can be harvested with a pickaxe. Claysta stalk grows in a Claysta fruit-bearing vine. Claysta fruit. Claysta fruit. Can be made into moss blocks, bamboo, melon, netherwort, kelp, pumpkin, upgrade templates, sugarcane, coarse fruit, potatoes, cactus, and carrot. We can also bake it into short grass and compost it into bone meal. Alright, so there's our Claysta pit, and as you can see, it's already growing the Claysta fruit pretty fast. So I think I'll just put the door right here and then cap it, because you can see it grows extremely fast. I'm hoping and praying if the Claysta stalks don't move, if they stay where they are, then it should be fine. But now we could just come down here and harvest Claysta fruit when we need it. And I'm wondering, there should be a way to automate this, right, at some point. Well, actually, I wonder, I've never actually tried it. If we use a builder, can you filter the builder to only mine specific items? Because if so, then I could just have it a builder in quarry mode set to like this area, only mine Claysta fruit. Hard to say. Not actually sure. Anyways, now that we have access to our Claysta, oh my extra glass, we can now cook off this Claysta fruit into grass and then see if we can get some seeds. Now the reason I have glass, because you're probably wondering, was for the basic item pipes. They're made from glass and iron. And if you're wondering why I also had the shears and the glow lichen, or lichen, I forget which one. I think both are acceptable, but I like lichen more. Glow lichen is needed to make the basic extractor attachments for these fast pipes. Which is pretty funny, because usually it doesn't have any use at all, but it technically is renewable, because if you use bone meal on glow lichen, it does spread on other blocks, and you can keep farming it. Well, there we go, the first wheat seed. Why was I doing this again? For what purpose? Oh, right, we didn't specifically need wheat. We needed paper for the shape card, and sugarcane comes from wheat. That's why we needed wheat. Gotcha. But now that we have wheat, that begs the question, how do we plant it? Because if you take a look, and I looked at it earlier, there's no way to get dirt. You can't craft it, you can't make it. Unless there's a vanilla way to make dirt that I'm unaware of. Usually you can craft coarse dirt, but that takes dirt. And we have 0 dirt. And as you can see here, it doesn't drop from anything. And usually there's workarounds, like, oh, you can convert stuff into podzol using those trees, but we don't have any. So how are we going to make a farm without dirt? Let's go ahead and take a look. If we type farm, there's actually clay farmland. So if we take bone meal, brown dye, short grass, and drop an anvil on triple compressed clay, we can place clay farmland. So I cleared out this area. This is going to be our farmland. It's going to be really tedious to make this because we have to drop an anvil on this over and over again. But other than that, it shouldn't be that difficult. But now to actually make it into farmland, we're just going to need short grass, bone meal, and brown dye. The most difficult thing is going to be the bone meal. Because short grass is easy, we could just turn our crop into it. And actually, can I convert Claysta fruit? Claysta fruit can go in the composter for 20% chance. Short grass is a 30% chance. So it's really not that much different of a chance. But then to make the brown dye, we just need to make orange dye, which comes from brown dye is red and orange, orange is yellow and red, and yellow can be red and green. So if I make yellow dye, we can then make orange dye, and then we can make brown dye. Bit convoluted, but it works. So that's the brown dye. Now I just need an axe. Why can I not? Oh, I bet we're out of sticks, that's why. Always out of sticks, there we go. To make a diamond axe. Now I just need to harvest a bunch of the fruit to convert into bone meal, and then we can try making our first piece of clay soil. So I just returned from the Nether. I went to get our chipped anvil, and as you can see, this stuff does grow actually really fast. So I was right about putting it down underground so it doesn't overtake the whole field. But now, what we should be able to do is take our brown dye, short grass, bone meal, and then drop an anvil on it to make our first piece of clay farmland. Now I can plant the wheat seeds, and we're done. Then we just have to wait for this to grow, which is going to be really annoying. And then I just have to repeat this process many, many times. Now, waiting for the farm to grow is going to take quite a long time. So I think something we can use our time on is by automating the production, well, not production, the collection of our scrimblow eggs. They lay eggs like every 8 minutes, I think, by the looks of it. 5, 4, 3, 1. Yeah, maybe about every 8 minutes. And each egg turns into 256 clay balls. So if we automatically collect the eggs and store it, and then have those go into a kiln, we can automatically turn them into clay, which should increase our clay capacity. So to start, I should be able to just have these guys move. Like if I tell you to get up, let me try multiple. Let me pick up all these guys. And I pick up the triple compressed clay, they all start walking towards it. Now I just need to get them all into... I don't think I can fit them in a 1x1 space. As you can see, they all have a pretty big collider box. But maybe if they fall down a hole, I can get them to. Let me try this. And there we go. All the scrimblows are now in a hole. And I can also feed them this stuff to get some more, if I need to, like that. Which I'll probably do, so we can get more scrimblows. There we go. More scrimblows, more eggs. And now, we'll automatically collect the eggs into this chest. Now I just have to have these get automatically placed into a kiln. So let me take a look. Grab this stuff. What is in here? Okay. So we just need to have these eggs go into a kiln. That kiln has to have fuel. And we don't have an electric way to do that yet. But as you can see, scrimblow egg bakes into 3x compressed clay. 3x compressed clay bakes into coal. So we will be inefficient on coal, but I think that's fine. I didn't tell them to sit down, so they all teleported out of the hole. Dang it. Okay, let me try that again. Okay, so now they're all stuck in the chamber. And the way I did it was I just had all of them teleport out, and then I just told them to sit down, and then I pushed them into the pit, and that worked a lot better. So now, we can start collecting scrimblow eggs automatically. And even after wasting the time doing that, it still looks like we're waiting on the wheat to grow. It's at 71%. Let's check on our crops. And we have a ton of crops waiting for us. So I'll convert that to bone meal and see if we can speed up the wheat. So now that morning came, we take this, click the wheat, convert you into sugar cane. Now we can plant the sugar cane. And once we have enough, we can make some paper and then work on our quarry machine. So sugarcane to paper. Then we need to craft ourselves a shape card, which will take some bricks. Brick. Now we want a shape card. Then we want this to be, then we need a diamond excavator. Why can I not craft an excavator? Sticks, diamonds. Should have enough. Diamond. Oh, there we go. Diamond excavator. So now I should be able to craft ourselves a shape card, clearing quarry. Builder, clay generator. And that's all we need. So if we put our builder here, and then put our clay generator, and throw in some clay, and we didn't bring any clay. Okay, let me chop down this tree real quick. This guy. Get some triple compressed. Throw you in here. We're now generating power. That's going into this guy. Now we throw in our shape card, clearing quarry. This card represents an area that can be used by the shield or the builder. Sneak right click on the builder to start mark mode, then right click on 2 corners of the wanted area. So we do this. Now select the first corner. We'll do right here. Now select the second corner. So for here, let's go into this side. And we'll do it over here. Now settings are copied to the shape card. So now it'll mine out this whole quadrant. Install the module. Current level the builder is at. Y equals stop. Set horizontal. I forget how to do this. Now I'm no expert, but I think it should work now. So I threw on an iron chest on top to store all the clay, and with a lever we should be able to turn it on. Okay, it's working. Nice. As you can see, it stripped the entire top layer. Now we just need it to actually do more than one layer. Okay, well I could have sworn there was an easier way to do this, but I don't remember how. Okay, 4x. Okay, we're loaded up on power. Okay, so I just dug a hole going straight down until I hit a cave, almost died, and I think that's deep enough. So now, if we sort this inventory, click U, turn this off, and turn off the sound, this chest should immediately fill up with clay as the whole area is mined out. And there it goes. The clay is disappearing. Yeah, because I could have sworn the way I did it in Dusty Hell was you could do an offset. I think it ran out of power. It did, yeah. Dang, this is extremely power hungry. Yeah, because I thought what I did was I just did a big cube and then you could just type in manually where you wanted it to go. So I just did like -64 so it would mine out the whole chunk. But I guess that's not the case. Or if it is, I just couldn't find the thing that I did before, which is very weird. But now you can see the power goes in and clay comes out. And now it's completely full, so it's going to turn off, I believe. Yep. Not enough power. Clearing mode. Progress. Y level 87. Chunk 0 4. Nice. And it fills up with clay. So if I take this out, it continues working, but fills up again. So really, the only way I could kind of fix this so far, if we make the... Oh, see, this is why the Fortune version has even more increased power consumption. Because if you have Fortune, when you break these clay balls, you keep it. Yeah, if you... Wait, Fortune? Yeah, Silk Touch, that was it. 60% increased power consumption. Because right now, it's going to fill up with clay balls, which is not very efficient. But it does work, and since RF Tools is in this pack at RF Tools, I believe we should be able to make the Ender generator. Ender thingamabob, you remember that from Dusty Hell? Yeah, the Pearl Injector, which is pretty cheap. Coal generator, Pearl Injector, Ender Monitor. Yeah, it's not that expensive. It does take a lot of clay though, but it generates a lot more RF than this clay generator does, which should be good enough to run the builder. Double the... And I guess, actually, it goes so fast that the breaking speed doesn't matter. But the consumption is 2 times as much for everything. If you infuse it, it uses less power. F1 for help. That doesn't tell me anything. So really, it would be how much energy does it take to break a block versus how much do we get from clay? Because if you look at this, a single clay block produces 75 Fe per tick. So actually, I might be able to test that. So if I take a single block of clay, like so, does this work? Oh, we could just do one. So if we put in a single block of clay, and let me make sure this is right here, and do one. Did it mine anything? Can't actually tell. Okay, let me try. This is at 10, right here. So if we do this, nothing. Okay, so it can't even mine with that. So here we are in my creative test realm, where I test out all of my mechanics, and also make the screenshots. As you can see, I have my green screens. So I noticed that this guy, well, not this guy in particular, but I noticed that the clay generators actually lose efficiency as you go up in compression. And I thought it'd be the opposite. So as you could see, a clay ball produces 500 Fe at 50 Fe per tick. So in total you get 500 Fe from a single ball of clay. But then when you go to a block of clay, which is 4 clay balls, it's only 1500, which is only 3 times as much and not 4 times. So we're actually losing efficiency every time. But something I did notice is you can actually put in 1 block of clay and it's enough energy to mine 1 block of clay. Now you might be thinking, well, if 1 block of clay only has enough power to mine another block of clay, then does this not run? And that's a good question. And really the only way to test this is, as you can see, there's some triple compressed clay over here and a bunch of double. If the energy usage needed to mine the double and the triple is still 1 block of clay, then it can work as long as, on average, you mine something that is worth more than 1 block of clay. Alright, so it's kind of confirmed. So I placed some triple compressed clay over here, and it looks like to mine a single block of triple compressed clay takes 12 clay blocks. As you can see here, 12 clay goes in, and it should be able to mine it, like it does, and put it into the chest. Triple compressed clay is worth 256, and it only costs 12 to mine. Which means, as long as we're mining something worth more than clay, we should be able to keep this running self-sustained. The only issue, though, is it will need a lot of clay to kind of jumpstart it, and I'm going to have to break down the compressed clay into the other versions through like an auto crafter, because we can, what are they called? Craft this guy. Oh, it's just called crafter. Via crafters. So anytime we mine something worth more than a clay ball, we would have to craft it all the way down to clay, and then throw it back into the generators to actually run. But then it should work, in theory. Alright, so after that further testing, I just decided if I slap down a couple more clay generators, and only feed them clay balls, this should power the quarry automatically. Now as you can see, it is pretty slow, but it's automatic. And it's going to keep going all the way down to I think Y0, and we're starting at 94, so that should get us quite a lot of profit. Now it's not fully automatic. I do have to come in here and fill it back up with clay balls because all of these, what are they called? Oh, it doesn't say. Well, the extractors are filtered to clay balls because they're the most efficient to be burned, which means this will run until it runs out. Now, as long as we get something worth more than a clay ball, worth more than a clay block, we can continuously run this by just refilling it with clay balls, and every time it mines a clay ball, it'll just keep going. We really only get a profit if it mines compressed clay. So all of that is single compressed, and I believe that's triple compressed, and as it goes deeper, we should start seeing some better veins. Now, coming up on our Claysta farm, I capped it with glass, because as you can see, it is starting to kind of overflow the containment area, and at least like this, it can still kind of spill out, but it'll be easier to clean that up, rather than it just, growing crazily and out of the way, and our farm is looking good. Now then, taking a look at my shulker box here, we have 9 blocks of 7x compressed clay. To craft the end portal, we're going to need 12 of these, because obviously you need 3 on each side, so you need 12 frames in total, which means 12 7x compressed terracotta, which means I just need 3 more. It's actually not too difficult if you go caving and use the iron excavators to find, the 4x and the 5x, so it goes pretty fast, but that's why I set up the builder. because we're going to have to spend some time in the Nether getting the quartz. Because we're going to need, how much is this? So we need 12 frames times 4 quartz. So that's 36 quartz. Wait. Yeah, 36 times 4. So that's going to be like 132. And the only way to get nether quartz is from smelting granite. And as you know, granite can only be found in the Nether. Now we do have 15 in here and 21 in there. So we're going to need quite a lot more. And it's really annoying because granite only spawns in like little chunks of like 10 to 14. And they're always surrounded by bluffs and everything else. So it's going to take a while. But it serves a dual purpose because to make our ender pearls, we are going to need these masks that drop from the Umvuvatha, so I'm going to have to fight them to get those masks as well. And they're not a big drop chance either, as you could see. It's a 1 in 3, and with looting it looks like it increases the chances by quite a bit, but it's mostly just looting 1 that is the biggest bump. Regardless though, we're going to have to fight. And our armor is pretty damaged, but we have a bunch of clay snacks, so I'm sure we will do just fine. Alright, so, took a while, and there was a little bit of waste, but turns out, if you just use a lava bucket, it makes fighting these guys a lot easier, because you don't actually have to fight them. You just burn them alive. Anyways though, I think we have everything we need. So, because to make our 12 ender portal frames and the 12 eyes, we need 24 eyes of ender. We can make these in groups of 3, so we only needed 8 masks. Echo shards we can make, and then 5x compressed clay is not too expensive, so that should cover all of the eyes of ender. We have almost 3 stacks of granite that we can turn into our nether quartz. That should cover the blocks, and then we just need a bunch of compressed terracotta, and we'll be able to craft the end portal frames. But for now, I think I just need to leave. Now, I have been collecting these frog lights as well, because we blow them up for blaze powder. But since we do get them at 33 and 21% chance, I think with 18 that should be enough. But just in case I will get, actually no, I don't think that's enough. Because this is, we need 1 blaze powder per ender pearl, so we need at least 24 of this. And if the drop rate is 33% and 21%, then that means we should need at least like 50 frog lights to essentially guarantee we have enough. Luckily there's a lot over here, so I'm going to harvest all these, and then we'll head back to the overworld. And let's get to cooking all this granite. What? Wait, what? Oh, it has to go into a kiln or this, so I can't actually put them in there. Okay, that's fine. You go in here. It should be 2 stacks of each to actually finish all this off, I believe. Swap you out. And that should make all of our nether quartz, because a single stack will make 64 quartz, which is 16 blocks. And we need 4 for this. So 2 stacks should be enough, I think. Now to get the skulk, actually, we already have a bunch of it, but to make more skulk, we need black terracotta and our crying obsidian. Let me sort out our inventory here. And we're going to need a lot of crying obsidian to actually do all of the damage. Yeah, only 20 echo shards. We need 9 for a single block. 9 times 12 is 81? No, not 81. It's a lot. It's like 101 or something. So we're going to need a lot of black terracotta. We're going to need a lot of explosives, a lot of anvils, which means more lava, more crying obsidian, which means I need a blast furnace. Now, can I actually craft a blast furnace? We should have all the materials, I just have to craft them, so we need a blast furnace, which will take nether brick, soul sand, a kiln, and magma block, slime ball, blaze powder. Okay, so it's all going to start with blowing up all the ochre frog lights. So, this stuff and ochre frog lights, and I'll put away all of the masks in here for now. You can also wear them to get stuff, like that one gives you haste, which is pretty nice. But overall, I don't really need it. Take out the eggs. And let's get to blasting. So let's start with all of the ochre frog lights. And this time I placed an extra layer on this side because I think it might actually reach it. Huh? Why didn't this work? Oh, is the anvil broken? Yeah, the anvil might have broke. Okay, take two. And take two. Okay, why was that one so much stronger? Because that blew up literally everything. Huh. Maybe because it was the frog lights? That's weird. Okay, I'm gonna have to repair all of this, which is annoying. Luckily I have some clay on me. Well, on the bright side, we did get 25 blaze powder, which is enough for all of our eyes, which is pretty good. So let me put that away. Now we're just gonna need to craft the eyes, which will take 5x compressed clay and a bunch of echo shards. Now we only need to do this craft 8 times to get enough. So 8 times 4 is 24 echo shards. We have 20. And echo shards are made from blowing up a black terracotta. So let's see if we have any more black terracotta. We do not, so let's craft some black terracotta. And I'm hoping that this one doesn't completely blow up. And we are going to need a lot of this. Alright, so now we should be able to craft ourselves some Eyes of Ender. Now, what level of clay does this need again? 5x. So we need 5x, and let's see, 2. Oh, I used it. This is going to be expensive. So let's convert some of this. So we're going to convert this into 6x. And then we have to convert this into 5x. And then we should be able to craft an Ender Pearl. 3 of them. And we need 24. How did we get 11? Oh, because they craft in groups of 3. This is 20. I said we need 24 and we made 27. So we're all good. And now just combine this. So Ender like so. Make 24 of these. And wait, how many is this? I actually don't know. 16. We need 24, so I need 8 more. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There we go. All 24 Eyes of Ender needed to craft our portal frames. Now we just have to continue smelting down our quartz and blowing up some more black terracotta for echo shards. And with that, we should have enough echo shards to make 12 skulk blocks. So if we type skulk into this, and we should be able to make 12. 1. I made a screen controller. Whoops. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, perfect. Well, that was a waste of resources. What did this take to craft? It ate an ender pearl. Why did this come up with the skulk, though? Huh. That's weird. I don't think I can even use this for. Yeah, I don't think that's useful in any way, shape, or form. I had 33 in here. Whoops. Oh, I completely forgot. Anyways, so that's our 12 skulk, which leaves only 7x compressed terracotta, of which we need 12, which is going to be the longest part. As you can see in here, we have quite a lot of 5x, and we converted a bunch of our 7x, in fact I think all of it, into 4x so we can make the iron, so I can make some more anvils. Which means I'm going to have to go mining. So let me dump everything in here. And luckily it's not too bad. I should be able to make another excavator, an obsidian one. And throw away the rest of this into there. Yep, that's good. You all go in here. Where's my anything needed? So Eye of Ender, skulk. Skulk. There we go. Can go into this one. So we just got to go mining to get enough clay to convert into compressed terracotta and be done with it. So we just need 12, which also means this would be a good time to make ourselves a, what is it called? Brewing stand, because we can make one of these now using a bluff rod and blaze powder in order to craft ourselves some menacing, what are they called? Potion of Intimidation. That should make mining go a lot easier. And now, after all that mining, we finally get our final 7x compressed terracotta. Now if you combine it with all of these, and I'm not going to do it in there so I don't misclick anything, throw all of this in here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and I completely misjudged how much quartz we needed. Okay, take 2. And there we go. Okay, now that should be enough. Turn that into quartz blocks, come over here, and continue crafting the end portal frames. Throw this in here, that one, and that one. And there we go, 12. And unlike the nether portal, these ones cannot be moved. So I think I'll just nestle it over in the corner over here and be done with it. Oh, I do need to place some blocks though to actually like act as a base, and then we're good to go. Let me grab ourselves some terracotta bricks, and then we'll slot it in the corner. Because the end portal frames are very particular about how they're placed, which can be very finicky. 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, like so. So now if we stand right here, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3. Now if we place in our eyes, and the final one, we open the portal to the end. But sadly, as you could probably tell, this episode has gone on quite long enough. I'm your host, Hamas28, and as always, I'll see you guys next time.